Hi, this is Terry White and welcome to Designing by Thread. Today I'm going to show you a mixed bag of techniques. We're going to do some thread painting and I'm going to show you a scrap technique for patchwork. This is our project Sunnybug Bag. We're going to start with the central panel of an embroidered bug. I'm going to show you how to thread paint it, but if you don't want to thread paint, you can find the embroidery on my website. This is a true scrap project. The border is made of little strips of leftover fabrics, and the corners are little bugs that are fused applique with buttons for eyes. When I design a thread painting, I usually start with a black and white drawing. Then I'll make a copy of that drawing and color it in with color pencils. This gives me the color idea ahead of time, plus the direction I'll be stitching. Now, if you don't want to thread paint, this is a sample of a stitch out from our embroidery design that you can find on my website, and it is the exact same design. So then I go back to the black and white and I trace that design on my fabric. So here I've got my design traced on the fabric. I have it hooped with a piece of stabilizer, and I have it hooped with a new hoop that we just started using. It's called a Morgan hoop, and it's better than the wooden one. It's got a few features that I just really like. The big wing nut, it's a whole lot easier to tighten because it's bigger. The hoop is very, very stable, and it holds the fabric in so tightly that it doesn't leach out while you're thread painting. The threads that I'm using today are by Superior Thread Company, and they're called King Tut, and they're absolutely beautiful variegated cotton threads, and I love to thread paint with them, and these are the 4 colors that I'm going to be using right up here. But I just wanted to show you all the yummy colors and the variety of colors that you can find. I'm starting with the yellow variegated, and you can see I've already done one side, and so I'll show you how I thread paint. So what I'm doing is I'm going along the suggested lines to go by, and I'm doing what I call contour stitching, where I'm mimicking the lines that I've drawn, you see? So it gives it a little more life than just stitching back and forth and back and forth. I'm using a yellow variegate, and I'll stitch in all the yellow areas first before I go to the next color. It just kind of saves time. So I've got these little diamond shapes going here. And you don't really have to worry about, well, I'm not going to really worry about covering up all the lines that I drew. If I come in with another color, I can take care of that if I missed something. I'm going to travel over to this other spot, and so I lift my presser foot to do that, and it's like a jump stitch. A little bit of yellow in here in his tail. Okay, now I'm going to change color. So here I've started with the next color, and right down in the center. Uh-oh, I went out of the lines. Oh well. Just kind of stitching back and forth and back and forth. This is the center of the body. The fun thing about using these variegated threads is that it gives a richness and depth to the project. Plus, you don't have to change the color so often. Now, keep in mind, these are suggested lines to go by, and I've never seen in any of my classes 2 people do the same design exactly in the same way. And I want you to notice too that the machine is not going very fast, is it? I don't stitch really fast when I'm trying to do a certain thing, you know. If you're filling in big areas, you can go faster, but smaller areas like this, I tend to go slower so that I have more precision. If you want to learn more about thread painting, you can go to my website, www.threadpaint.com, and I have instructional CD that is the basics, and it is for beginners, and it shows you all about hooping and stitching and needles and machine setup and everything you'd need to know to do this kind of work. It is a lot more detailed, much more detailed than what you see me doing right here. This can be so addictive. This is so much fun to do. You see, I'm just following the curves, and this is, I call this contour stitching. And when you're using a variegated thread, even more so than a solid, I think, the direction that you're stitching becomes very important, because you can really see the colors change in the direction that you're stitching. Now, I think this little bag is just really a great project. For instance, if you thread paint and you try to explain to somebody about thread painting and they just can't picture it, say you had your Sunny bug bag with you and then you could just show it to them. Like for instance, if Marianne had her Sunny bug bag with her, she could show all her coworkers at the hospital what she did, how she could thread paint. Because she's a professional nurse and she probably wouldn't wear a Sunny bug. She can't wear her quilted vests at work. As you can see, I've changed colors. This is a really beautiful turquoise thread, and it's called Denial, which cracks me up every time. So here I'm going to stop and I'm going to look at my colors. And what I'm going to do here is I have one more blue after this. This turquoise is going to sort of be in between the colors. So I'm going to turn it around. So you can turn your hoop around, because your feed teeth are down and you can move your hoop in any direction. And so I'm going to stitch along the edge of these, and this is sort of like a little back and forth stitch. It's just, see, back and forth like that, and it fills it in nicely. And it also makes the variegated color a little more subtle in the color change when you stitch that way. Now the pattern for this is also on the website, www.threadpaint.com. Okay, now see, sometimes you have to move your hoop around so that you can see what